Welcome to the Savvy Ventures Show, connecting you with noteworthy industry changemakers, movers, shakers, and innovators from around the world. From CEOs, executives, and other titans of industry to entrepreneurs, inventors, professional athletes, authors, chefs, and other thought leaders. You'll hear from power players across industries, here to inform, enlighten, and entertain. All of this, plus travel and shopping, hot picks, and so much more. And now, here's your host, Merilee Kern.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Savvy Ventures, where we connect with high-powered experts across all categories, here to share their insights and inspirations. This show highlights remarkable people and businesses throughout America and beyond, with a deeper dive into the brilliant minds behind the brands. Plus, for Savvy Shopping, we often showcase hot gifts and gets. And for those out there with wanderlust, we spotlight trending travel and dreamy destinations perfect for those itineraries ahead. I'm Marketplace Trends expert Merilee Kern, and today's show is another great one. We'll actually be spending the entire episode chatting with the legendary chef Ming Tsai, discussing his consumer packaged good products, and also chatting a bit about his famed East meets West cooking style. And he even shares some business tips for you aspirationals out there. Ming has a lot to dish about today, so let's get to it. Joining us now is Chef Ming Tsai, who's a famed Iron Chef, James Beard and Emmy Award winner, chef and partner at Baba at Yellowstone Club in Big Sky, Montana, president of the National Advisory Board for Family Reach, and author of no less than 5 cookbooks. He was also host and executive producer of the longest running cooking series on PBS called Simply Ming, which I used to watch all the time. And he just shot a new miniseries titled Simply Ming, Better for You. Chef Ming also recently founded Ming's Bings, which is a consumer packaged goods startup company bringing better for you, plant-based, and convenient food to the frozen food aisle. Beyond being the first East meets West option of its kind, Ming's Bings also gives a portion of proceeds to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Family Reach. In 2022, Chef Ming Tsai became Iron Chef Ming Tsai as he joined the cast of 5 world-class chefs in the Netflix series Iron Chef: Quest for an Iron Legend. His brand is only getting bigger and better over time, and he's here now to talk about his culinary path, including why he founded a frozen food brand and tips for growing your own business through focus and passion. Hey, Chef, welcome to the show.
Hey, Merilee, nice seeing you again.
So first of all, congratulations on just everything you have going on. And it's just so notable. You've had such longevity in the industry and have been able to successfully diversify your business ventures. So on that note, I'd mentioned your Ming's Bings CPG company in the intro, which I love, by the way. I tried a few samples at the South Beach Wine and Food Fest where you were there personally doling them out. And now I'm kind of just obsessed with the cheeseburger flavor. So good. So what inspired you to create this particular company? And is being a chef a benefit to operating a frozen food brand?
Good question. So this story starts a little sad, but ends up happy. My wife had a very serious diagnosis, it'll be 5 years ago. And collectively, one of the decisions we decided, besides she got incredible treatment at Dana-Farber, which made her 100% healthy, is we decided she should go vegan based on all the research and the way we already ate, being Chinese. And my wife's not Chinese, but she eats, obviously everything we cook. She loves Asian. It's primarily plant-based. And we were both already basically pescatarian. So to go vegan was not a large step. And the real reason is, and I've said this my entire career, is you are what you eat. And if you're eating double cheeseburgers 5 times a week, that's what you're going to be. Plant-based is just a much better way to eat for your body. Reducing inflammation was something that was equally key for us. So hence developing a gluten-free wrapper. Inflammation, basically, all diseases can grow if you're eating inflammatory foods, right? Cancer feeds on sugar as well. So eliminate sugar. The only sugar we put into our bodies for the most part comes in the form of tequila, because you still need to live, right? You can't cut everything out. And so I basically wanted to, um, help heal her through food. And true story, I go to the grocery stores that you all know to look at the veggie patty market, right? What do they have? And no disrespect to Prager and Bocas and Gardines, but they're all kind of emulsified hockey pucks, right? They puree beans or soybeans or chickpeas or whatever. It's hard for Thomas Keller. It's hard for any of us chefs to make a good bean patty because you're pureeing beans, right? So I really worked on it. I'm like, look, I want to flip this paradigm. I want to put the emulsification on the outside. So develop this brown rice wrapper and then just fill it with plant-based deliciousness. So literally taste whatever the best plant-based protein. We're currently using a GMO-free soybean. Happy to announce come Q4, we're switching and going to a pea protein. So now we're going to be completely allergen-free. So the only allergen right now in the Mings Bings is soy. And then with that plant-based protein, I then just chefed it up, right? I would add caramelized onions and herbs and spices. We use a cheese called BioLife cheese, which is an awesome cheese made from coconut fat. Has the mouthfeel, the flavor, the melty quality of cheese. We use Just Egg, a great company we partner with. They make a beautiful scrambled egg and these patties made from mung bean. So just like, so to kind of answering your second part, it definitely helps to be a chef when you're doing a CPG company because it's the same thing. It's about flavor. Either it tastes good or it doesn't taste good, right? Either in my restaurant it tastes good or it doesn't. Either out of the frozen food aisle, either it tastes good or it doesn't. And so being a chef greatly helps. Where being a chef is a little bit of detriment is we all try to cook perfectly in our restaurants, right? And unfortunately with frozen food, you just have to learn the system and you have to make amends, right? You can't have fresh herbs, for example, right? I love fresh basil, but you can't do that because it noirceurs, it darkens. So you have to adapt yourself to thinking how the CPG industry works and how freezing something for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, what that does to the product. So there's other things that are added to the process, but the bottom line is the same: is if it doesn't taste good, start over.
It's true. And I think that's just your value proposition. I mean, the fact that you have this chef level standard and are paying attention to things that maybe a typical manufacturer would not be. And it shows in the product. I mean, like I said, I've sampled and enjoyed numerous flavors. And,
Thank you.
You don't get the sense that you're eating something that's serving a dietary purpose per se. It's really just delicious food. And right. I think that is what sort of differentiates you. And your timing's so good.
I'm sorry if I can interrupt. You just said it. If it tastes healthy, we blew it, right? If it tastes like health food, we blew it. We want it to be crunchable and craveable. And, the secret sauce, in my opinion, is the crunch, is this gluten-free brown rice wrapper. Because I've never had, maybe you haven't either, I've never had a crunchy gluten-free anything, right? I mean, you can get the dry crackers, right? But as a wrapper, as an egg roll, as a dumpling, they're never crunchy like this. And that was something that absolutely was paramount in my developing this, because crunch is the first thing, even before taste. Your teeth are getting through, and then you get the taste. So that's absolutely critical. And the one other aspect that I don't really think about as a restaurant chef is convenience, right? As a restaurant chef, I'm doing all the cooking. It's 48 hours to make my Peking duck, so you don't have to do anything. So convenient for the customer. But frozen food, it needs to be convenient for the customer to cook. And we spent a lot of time developing this wrapper and getting it to the right color. So it's 12 minutes, 14 minutes max in an air fryer. You set it and forget it. You don't spray it, you don't parchment it. Ditto for an oven. If you don't have an air fryer, it's just 18 minutes and you flip them once. I think that's so key, because the product can be awesome, but if it's too hard to cook or it takes a half an hour and preheat everything, it's no one's going to eat it, right? Convenience is so key for a CPG.
It is. And your timing is so perfect, because first of all, veganism is just sort of, evolved in the mass consumer consciousness. It's not really regarded as weird or some cult thing. It's, really become accepted. And, as evidenced by just the tremendous amount of foods at the grocery store, catering to that population, which is just growing. And then, as you just said, appliances and air fryers and, this convenience lifestyle. So your product is just, right there in the lane. It's so perfect. And you had I read it in the intro and you sort of referenced, but I know it's a cause conscious company as well that donates a portion of proceeds to the Dana-Farber Foundation. So
and so our motto is eat good, feel good, do good. Eat good because it has to be delicious. I'm an Iron Chef, right? So that's an easy one. Feel good. Well, plant-based does just make you feel better. The next morning, you definitely feel better after eating a vegan, Ming's Bing's cheeseburger versus a double cheeseburger. And do good. And by the way, the other feel good is your brain feels a little better. It is better for the environment when this country, this world eats less meat. It's just facts. It's just data. And based on the last, 10 disasters in this world, I think there is global warming to some extent. So that makes you feel better. You're doing something better for like your children's and their children. And then lastly, the do good is some proceeds do benefit both Dana-Farber, again, the hospital saved my wife's life, my CEO's life, and a great charity called Family Reach, where we financially help families dealing with cancer. It's still one of the number one causes of bankruptcy when there's a cancer diagnosis in a family. And if you're in the 1-2%, you get a cancer diagnosis. For me, the last thought in my mind was I'm going to end up homeless. It's a real reality to people. For example, right now, I was just in Hawaii raising money for both Family Reach. We're doing a big cooking live down there in October, but also helping people in Lahaina, the Maui victim. As you can imagine, and I know you know what happened, Lahaina got wiped out. There were 3 families in Lahaina that were dealing with cancer with their children. So now they have their entire homes wiped out, but cancer doesn't get wiped out. So now these families are in Honolulu in a motel because the kid still needs cancer treatment. Talk about one of the worst possible situations in your life. You already have a son or daughter with cancer, and now you lose your home. It's just horrific. So that's why Family Reach is so important. We visited the Children's Hospital there. There's 3 families that are there that have nowhere to go, right? Their house is gone. And we're not even a charity, we're humanity, right? Just imagine that you're homeless now, but you're still trying to save your son or daughter's life. And so thank God for foundations like Family Reach. And obviously thank God for the Dana-Farbers and great hospitals in the world, research hospitals that are always finding cures. It's important. Look, and going back by me, Marley, going back to the whole crux of Ming's Bings has always been, I've said URG, but it's always been better for you, right? BFY. So BFY is actually a grocery store term. And bluntly, one of our challenges is there are 85% of this country that eat meat, and 15% are vegetarians, and about 1% are vegans, right? And as you can imagine, there are definitely people in this country that kind of put arms up, like, I don't do plant-based. I'm a real man, or right? They do that. And as a side note, I find it kind of funny because we're at the Bruins games, right, the Garden, and they're like, oh, hey, try a cheeseburger Ming's Bing, a plant-based Ming's Bing's. Like, oh, I don't do plant-based, but they're holding 2 passion fruit Trulies. So I kind of chuckle to myself that they're real men, but they're still drinking passion fruit Trulies. Anyway, that's just a side note. But I'm excited where Ming's Bings is going because we're solely a plant-based company, better for you. But and I can't officially announce it, but come this fall, we have a whole bunch of new better for you products that will kind of open us up to a wider market. I've always done this. I've done it with my kids, although I don't really need to sneak veg with my kids. For any mom or dad out there, you want your kids to eat vegetables, just start your pan or wok with oil, garlic, onion, or oil, garlic, onion, ginger. Whatever vegetable you put in, your kids are going to eat them, right? Don't steam your broccoli and serve it to them the first time they have broccoli and say, this is broccoli. It's horrible. Walk their broccoli with garlic, ginger, scallions, a little sesame oil. They'll be like, I love broccoli. Having said that, there are lots of challenges for parents that can't get veggies into kids because they like chicken fingers and mac and cheese. So I too have hidden cauliflower rice or carrot shreds or some type of veg. So our new extension is going to be a better for you line that is exactly that. There's going to be veg hidden in, but the most important thing is point one, it will still be delicious. And kids and adults won't even notice. And I'm really excited about that because everyone wants to eat a little less guilt, right? You want to be a little more guilt-free. But like I said, 75% of this country want meat. So reduce their guilt, but still have a delicious thing that's still convenient and it's better for you is something we're really excited about.
Yeah. And to your point about, how men sometimes regard the plant-based lifestyle, I had seen that documentary Game Changers where,
what a great movie, right?
Yeah, the science was just so undeniable about how it elevated the athlete's performance and all of these things. It was really eye-opening and incredible.
I would implore everyone that's listening to this to watch Game Changers. The world's strongest man is plant-based, vegan, New Zealand guy. I mean, he's gargantuan, but he's gargantuan by not eating ribeyes all day. He's gargantuan by eating plant-based. So, that is, I'm so glad you brought that up because when I saw that documentary, I'm like, oh my God, so much for people saying, I'm an athlete, I need to eat meat. No, not true.
Exactly. All right. So the product I know can be found at retailers like Target and through Instacart and that kind of thing. Do you have any plans for any new retail partnerships or other distribution or market expansions?
Oh yeah, we just launched in Whole Foods, 150 Whole Foods, which is so exciting. With our plant-based breakfast things, again using the just egg and potatoes and cheese and whatnot. So that we just launched. We're continuing. We love working with Publix and Wegmans, and we're continuing doing more SKUs for these people. I'm in Denver currently, and so Sprouts is king here, and we're doing more for them as well. And we continue to grow. We hit 5,000 stores recently, we're lucky. Plant-based in Q1, the industry got kind of pummeled a little bit. But we've had a steady increase over every quarter, and in a way, I think we were still the right size. We're not so large, so the implication of plant-based didn't hit us as much, and because we're still new enough to keep developing new stuff. I love being a small company. I mean, I can't wait till I'm a large company, but I love the small part now because we're nimble. So we need to do something quickly. It's chef driven, right? I have 15 people all day. The two I work by far the closest besides the CEO are my two chefs, right? And, we're at the factory right now and just mastering how it's done and training people. And I thought briefly when I was going, I'm going to do a CPG company. I'm like, it must be so much easier than opening a restaurant. Nope, I was wrong. It's similar industry. It's food based. You got to have perfect food, perfect crunch, all that stuff, but the same problems, right? It's people, and you need this yesterday, so nothing changes, right? With a restaurant, you need a liquor license, you need this and that. With a factory, you need other things as well, right? And but I have learned, and I've known this for a long time, and I know you know this as well. It's always people based. Right? Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you and better than you in lots of other parts of your company, which fortunately I have an amazing team. My CMO was an Instagram guru. My CEO, big Harvard business guy that just worked in Frito-Lay and actually had an epiphany, like, I can't keep selling this stuff to America. This is not helping them. I need to sell stuff that's going to help America. So this type of passion. And then, both my chefs, one's been with me 10 years and beyond. And it's just every single person is so good at what they do. That's always my best piece of advice. Surround yourself with people that are better than you, 100%.
Nice. And what about things like schools and stadiums and parks? Will you be getting out of the grocers and elsewhere in the world?
We are in food service strong. Yeah, I mean, again, we're the official Bing and the Boston Red Sox. We're at the Garden. We're at Barclays. We're down in Tampa Bay Rays. So I visit all those places a lot. We're Wake Forest and their whole program, so we're getting into colleges and prep schools as well. You mentioned timing. The other reason this timing is good is labor in our market is really hard. So a lot of restaurant companies and people with stadium, they want 2-step, 3-step cooking. They don't want to have to do 7 steps because they don't have their 15 cooks anymore. They're on the 7 cooks. So they need to get stuff that is still cooking, but more ready, if you would. And that's where Ming's Bangs really solves a great niche. Plus the fact that, again, the way we develop it's 2 minutes in a turbo chef So now all those stores that have turbo chefs can easily serve Ming's Bings from frozen. And again, just always thinking ahead. I'm trying to get it down to 90 seconds because that's really all drive-throughs. 90 seconds is their threshold. And just continue to develop. I'm looking at developing working term Bing bites. We've had a lot of requests, especially food service, to get a smaller one because when you cut a Bing in four, they're still delicious, but they kind of break apart. So a Bing bite, and who knows? I'm not a microwave chef, but the convenience of a microwave is undeniable. So if you can pick it up in 1 minute, so maybe Bing bites in a bag type thing, and still be gluten free, still have the plant based vegan ones, and then probably do better for you meat based down the road. But I think one of the joys for me is I still get to chef, right? I'm still chefing. I'm still creating new stuff. I'm still working with chefs. And now, instead of working about the font and the design of the menu and your logo and your sign outside your restaurant, it's boxes and FDA and USDA and what can you say and what can you not say. So at my age, to still learn a whole new thing like this is actually still really cool.
Well, you had mentioned also social media, that you have this guru on board, and with social media obviously being so integral to a brand success, how important has it been for you? Especially, I know you have a Bing on the Street viral video series, and like I said, you're out there, you're at the food festivals, personally doling out the product. So how is social media kind of playing a role here?
Oh, it is gargantuan, right? Monica, who's our social media guru herself, that works with Ashley. I think she's 23 and just knows 10x, 20x to me on what to properly do. So she and I will get together every 1 or 3 weeks, and we do a bunch of TikToks. The Bing on the Street was really her idea. As you know, get other people to talk about your product. I can talk about my product all day, but the credibility is zero. It's Ming's Bings, right? Get other people to try them. And the reason I think it's worked so well is there are the exact people that don't do plant-based. So they'll have their Bing in their hand. There's one guy that we got 2.5 or 3 million views because he was so skeptical. He's like smelling it. And he even said, quote to me, which I'm surprised I didn't bite back at him. He's like, what if I don't like it? Can I spit it out? Which is a pretty broad thing, a pretty bold thing to say to me. But he had no idea who I was. So I'm like, sure, dude, if you don't like it, spit it out, right? And that interaction creates virality, right? Because people are like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're going to spit out an Iron Chef's dish? And then, then other people are like, well, dude, it's a weirdo on me being the weirdo handing food to someone. Like, if you don't know who I am, it is a little bit, you want to try something? Like who are you, dude? And, but honestly, 5-7 years ago, I was so reticent to do social media. I'm like, I don't need another thing to do, right? Now it is integral for the introduction of Ming's Bings, getting into that generation, right? The TikTok generation. I love the controversy that I create sometimes. My most popular TikTok at, 6 or 7 million views is my fried rice, which is something I've made my entire life, right? You've had fried rice 1,000 times. And the controversy was fried rice was created to use over your leftover rice. That I know, that everyone knows, right? Lots of dishes are created to do that. Shepherd's pie was created to use up, right? Mashed potatoes. I did my TikTok and said, by the way, here's a tip. Use fresh rice, right? And I learned that from a great Chinese chain called Din Tai Fung, which is the best Chinese restaurant chain in the world. And I was watching them in Beijing. I was there during the Olympics. And I'm like, why is this fried rice so good and fluffy? And I would look through the windows, and sure enough, they had a huge pot of regular steamed rice. And every time they made fried rice, they took 3 huge scoops of hot rice. Less oil is needed, so much quicker because your rice is already hot. You never have clumps because it's hot and fluffy. And so now I always, even though my first 4 out of my 5 books, it says use leftover rice. My last book, and I'll say, take your leftover rice, nuke it in your microwave with a cover to get it hot, and then use that. But everyone is like, chef, you're wrong. You're supposed to use leftover rice. I'm like, guys, I'm actually not wrong, but okay. But that controversy is what creates virality. And I try to answer as much as I can personally, But when you have 6,000 comments, you just can't get quite to all of them. But all my Instagram and everything, I do myself, right? I mean, I like that connection I have with people that have food questions. I want to know about this, that, and do you like this or not like that? I love that because this is where it's better than TV. TV is one way. You watch me, that's it. Maybe I'll get an email or letter from you, 2, 3, 5 weeks down the road. Social media is instant. And there's bad parts of that too, obviously. But when you're trying to promote something new in a new company, it's fantastic because, like, for example, where can we find the Bings? Because I'll post it, they say it looks delicious. Please go to mingsbings.com and go to the Bing Finder. And the Bing Finder, you'll find the closest store to you. That would never happen on TV, right? They see, well, where can I get that? And then they either have to do a lot of work and Google it and do this and do that. Social media it does what it's supposed to. It definitely makes you social. And and it is enjoyable. It is another job. It is a complete another job.
It is. It's just a whole universe. But I love that you made that point, and I want to reiterate it, that it's you personally that are, making the post and, the comments and the concepts, and you're not responding personally. There's just too much to respond to. But when there is a post, it's coming from you and not a marketing team per se. And people always wonder with celebrities, is it really a team of strategists that are kind of putting out these messages, or is it actually you on social interacting?
No, it's me. Posts? I mean, I'm never going to say never. If I have 50 million followers, then eventually it has to be a team. But yeah, I mean, that'll be a problem I have to deal with. But I enjoy it. I actually do enjoy it because most of the questions are cooking. And of course, it touches me that people love my parents and love Henry on my shows and all that stuff, right? It really creates not only a dialogue, it creates a community. It really does. And,
I think it creates...
and people really follow you.
It's true. And it creates just an authenticity, which when you do have a CPG or any brand, really, that authenticity and kind of this human to human interaction is just so important these days. And I'm glad you brought up kind of that rice story, because I'm not going to let you go without talking food a little bit. So really just a basic question. You're known for East meets West cooking. So what would you say that really just exemplifies that culinary style? Is there any particular important characteristics, for example?
Great question. And yes, I've always said, first of all, I hate the term fusion cuisine. Fusion cuisine. What are you fusing? Is you atoms together to create nuclear warheads or bombs, right? That's not what we do with food. Food we blend. So I always say good East-West cooking is the blending of techniques and ingredients from both the East and the West. And I was lucky enough that I got to train in Asia, in Japan, in China. And I always say, a lot of people don't have that opportunity. But if you love Japanese food because you've been to this Japanese restaurant and you frequent it, ask that chef. If you really seriously want to get into this, can I work with you? I'll work for free, whatever it takes. But you have to learn. My whole point is you have to learn traditionally how the Japanese treat wasabi, how the Thais treat lemongrass, how us Chinese treat sesame oil, before you earn the right to blend it into your own food. Because I've had dishes that have been disasters. The worst food in the world, I call it confusion cuisine. Because every kid can get sesame oil and lemongrass and all this, but maybe peanut butter and escargot is never supposed to be put together, right? Just because it's never been done, it doesn't mean it should be done, right? Excuse me. In Chinese cuisine, you use maybe a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil and a big pot of chicken stock because it's so strong. But I've had young cooks take tuna carpaccio and drizzle sesame oil on it like it's evu. You taste sesame oil for your next 5 courses. You literally not only ruin the dish, you ruin the meal. That's confusion cuisine. So again, I was blessed. I had an opportunity to train in Japan, but there's plenty of Japanese restaurants and Japanese YouTubes and Japanese cookbooks that you learn traditionally those techniques. And then my last point on East-West, it's not East-East, meaning I would never take the bold flavors of Thailand and China and put it together to make a dish, or Japan and Chinese even, right? No. I pick a dish that's going to be Thai style, and then I blend it with my Western training because I trained in Paris. So that may be monté au beurre at the very end, or a little bit of lemon juice or whatever it may be. But Asian cuisine is so strong. Like, can you imagine Indian Chinese combined? You don't need to. right? Stick with the traditions of how each cultures do it, and then earn the right to blend it.
I love it. And you've just been so fortunate to have worked and lived in so many different cultures. So, you have just that, again, that authentic perspective. And then just one business question, then I'll let you go. Do you have any one piece of advice for business owners or those who want to be a business owner on how to grow a business, start a business, but really just to stay motivated and focused amid just the litany of complexities they'll run into?
Yeah, I do. I say this all the time. I am no smarter than you, for example. I'm just older, right? I'm 59. So I've just seen more stuff. And the one thing I see that crushes a freestanding restaurant or a small startup company that's selling cookies or whatever is cash flow. And when I did Blue Ginger, this is in 1998. And I'll tell you the numbers because the numbers are so small compared to what numbers are now. But I opened the restaurant. It was a 120-seat restaurant in Wellesley, Mass. I borrowed $250,000 through an SBA loan, which is my first loan I ever got, Small Business Administration. And I raised $250,000 through friends and family. It's a lot of money, $500,000. I get it. But we ended up building a completely entire restaurant that opened on time and on budget. So the two things happened because I knew I had to preserve cash flow. In my budget, I was opening with $50K cash, right? Most restaurants have been open. They spend to the very last, we can afford this last can of paint. And then they go, we're going to do 200 dinners every night. And don't worry, we're going to be fine. No, you need to have enough cash to do 0 covers for the first month and still be able to pay everything because no one's going to do 200 out the door. No one does, right? So you have to have enough cash in your budget so that when you do have that first or second slow week, you don't immediately have to start cutting costs. Because once you go from prime steak to choice steak, well, you're now deteriorating the quality of your food, right? And you start using frozen salmon, not fresh salmon. You're doing this because you're running out of cash, but you're creating a spiral to failure because you're supposed to be this restaurant in your dreams cooking this type of food, but because of the lack of cash, you got to cook this style of food. And that's really how one of the reasons businesses go under. And my suggestion on how to prevent burning your cash like that, I was at my restaurant during the build out every single day. I was there talking to the GC. I'm walking it because you do something called design build. So the architect is the designer that also knows the GC. So they know planks of wood come 8x4, for example. So don't do a 9-foot anything because now you have to use 2 planks of wood to get 9 feet. So design build. A round banquette is going to cost you $10,000. You do a square one, it'll cost you $1,000. That stuff, right? Because my goal was to open a restaurant that was functional, that was really good. I was not trying to win, a architectural digest award, right? I was trying to just get a great restaurant. But by being on premise the whole time, for example, the prep room says, "Hey, chef, the sketching says the prep sink is here in the right corner. We've busted the walls out. Your piping is on the left corner. It'll save you 6 man hours. You put the prep sink in the left." I'm like, prep sink goes in the left. And that only happened because I was there on the spot. So those cost cuttings is why we opened a day early and under budget. But I trust people implicitly. But if you're not there, no one's going to work as fast as they're going to work unless you're there. Just like a restaurant. People do stand a little taller, cook a little bit tighter when the boss is around. That's just life, right? You need the president of the United States around to help make big decisions, right? I'm not saying I'm the president of the United States, never want to be the worst job in the world, honestly. I have the best job in the world. I get to make people happy through food. It's an incredible job. And I need to plug my boy, Jose Andres, who's the hero of all chefs, right? And if you don't know him, please go to World Central Kitchen. We've cooked 25 million meals in Ukraine. I'm very proud. Last night, I just did a fundraiser for Maui, raising money for World Central Kitchen, who's on the ground making meals for everyone. All the chefs always help chefs, right? So 90% of Maui is fine. They're all helping everyone in Lahaina. And I just did a great book signing with these amazing brothers. They own a place called Sushi Den here in Denver. It's Yasu and Toshi-san. They bring 30 chefs from Japan, do this amazing party on top of their garage, and I donated cases like I don't know, cases and cases of my book, and I sold them for $50 a pop and personalized and photographs and all that. And we raised like $7,500 just in one night, and that's what not only I do, that's what all of the chefs do, right? We all have this inherent DNA we have a platform to be able to give back, and we want to be used. I will do one more plug. Come October 21st, with Guy Fieri and 30 other chefs, we are cooking in Sonoma, a fantastic event that should raise close to $2 million also for everyone in Maui. So go check. If you just Google Guy Fieri Sonoma dinner, it's going to be an event of a lifetime to have 30 of us chefs there.
Incredible. And I'm so glad you did bring that up. And, being a chef, just inherently your job really is to bring people pleasure, but that you all are going so much further beyond that and really creating just a legacy with all of, the charitable work you're doing. It's just, the impact that you're having on the world and lives just expands the goodness. So I'm glad you brought all that up. It's amazing. Yeah. And, the fact that you're so present and hands-on, I mean, that's your superpower in business. I mean, even all the details you just reiterated about the design build process, a lot, especially, the more famous set, they'll put their name on things, they'll license out, their name, image, likeness, but you're in it, man. You're, in the trenches.
Oh, no. My company's called Ming's Bings. I have to be in it. I mean, I'm half the name of the company. And yeah, I mean, you can certainly lead by example, but you got to be there to lead. You can't email leadership. It just doesn't work. And like with anything, you can make everything better by just repeating it and doing it and doing it. You really can. And for me, I mean, I do think this CPG business may be a great way to retirement. Maybe. Right? You have to have that event. But it's exciting to, at least for me and my team, we see the path. There's a path. It's pretty clear what we have to do. And basically from point A to point B, it's just hard work, being present, like you said, and execution, right? But the execution, like a restaurant, like McDonald's, who I think is an amazing restaurant company, is consistency. Anyone can execute a great meal once. Can you do it for 10 years? Can you make a product that's exactly the same? And that's I think true with anything, right? I mean, athletes. Yeah. There's some great athletes, but can they shoot 20 points every basketball game, or is it just one? Right, same thing. And none of it's a secret. For athletes, it's practice and getting in shape. For chefs, is doing it and doing it and doing it, and being open-minded to the new ingredient, the new technique. Right? I learn more from people younger than me, for sure, than older than me now. I mean, when I was 20, I learned everyone was older than me, but now I'm learning from everyone younger than me, and it's just as valuable.
Yeah. And, that consistency kind of fosters longevity and trust and all of the things that kind of sustain you over the years. I mean, people have come to really, when your name is on a product, people trust that it's going to have that level of quality and thoughtfulness and all of that. So, and really just as a businessman, you're just, a really example of focus and drive and vision and passion. So I'm just so glad you came on to share about everything you have going on, and you don't need luck, but I wish it for you anyway. Just keep up all the great work.
I so appreciate it, Merilee, and I've seen a couple things on your show. You keep up your good work. Thank you for help promoting people like us, and especially promoting great causes like World Central Kitchen and Family Reach. We need each other, right? Absolutely. I need you to tell the story, tell the chef story, talk about Jose. And believe you me, all of those chefs, you can't stop us. We're gonna just keep cooking till we can't cook anymore. If I'll close on one last point, and another area I'm going into, because another buddy of mine is really into helping probably the worst disease, I'll call it, or pandemic we have in this country is mental illness, right? We have just crazy amount of mental illness in every industry, in every age group. Males are committing suicide higher than anyone in this country, and it's just sad, and it's not There's not a solution, obviously, one singular solution, but we have to be cognizant of this. And in our industry, in the chef industry, it's incredibly prevalent, right? Because you're working late, there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's single mom or dad. It's just there. And I would just implore everyone to talk to people that may reach out saying, I don't feel very good, or I'm not, I just went for my therapist. You need to be aware. It's okay that someone sees a therapist, right? That's normal, right? Some people go to trainers, some people go to therapists. People need it. This world is so much harder and complex than it's ever been. And just the divisiveness that there's going on in this country, in this world, we as adults need to recognize that and help a person. You don't know that person you just honked at, what the struggles that person may be going through. That could have just lost her husband or a wife or a mother or a kid. And so what's the answer? The answer is just, at all costs, be kind. Just be kind. Be kind to everyone. If someone cuts you off on the road, they're in a bigger rush than you. Let them go. Didn't really ruin your day, right? Let them go, right? Open the doors, right? Open the doors for men and women. And just be kind. Dude, just get your butt off the subway or the bus if a woman walks in, for crying out loud. If someone old walks in. We can't lose that, because we lose that, we're done.
It's true. I mean, that little bit of grace can go such a long way. And I love the point you made, to destigmatize seeking help and getting therapy. And I love giving a microphone to that message. And in fact, I had just interviewed NFL alum Corey Lewis, who has a mental health app targeted for men specifically called 1-in-1, because men, historically have had such a hard time just kind of getting.
No, because when you ask a man how you doing, you're like, I'm good. Men are always, I'm good. Doesn't matter what's really happening. It's, I'm good. Because they have to be. We have to be the strength of the family, the head of household. Blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. We don't have to be any of that, right? Yeah. Women are smarter. Let's just put that out there right now. So since you guys are smarter, let's let you guys run everything, right? But men are just so enclosed, not all, but most men are enclosed and just embarrassed, and they're never going to say they need help mentally, right? I mean, that I break an ankle, it's obvious I have a cast on, but so few men like, I need help, guys. I can't, and then, and depression, anxiety. It's a common trait now. 1 out of 4 people have anxiety or depression in this country.
It's epidemic level, and luckily there are apps and resources, at an 100%. Increasing. I also have another client, a colleague. He has an app called Happy, where it's just active listening. You're lonely, you need advice, you just want to talk to somebody, no matter 24/7, you can engage with somebody, and they're just going to listen to you, however you need.
This is where AI actually is very useful. There is, I don't know the name of this program, but there is a program that you speak to this person. You can choose a man or a woman, you can choose British accent, you can choose whatever, but you end up having, it sounds a little bit weird, but you end up having a relationship, kind of like 2001 Space Odyssey, right? You end up having a relationship, but because it's AI, it learns that I do like spicy food, and right, it learns everything. And so when you go back, it'll be like, how's your mom doing? Right? Because you just talked about your mom. And it's shown that it's helped people and literally talked them off the wall, because they're like, no, you can't do that. You still got your 2 brothers, or right? I mean, because it knows you. So in that instance, and finding cures for diseases and cancer, AI is incredible. Obviously, in the wrong hands, it can do bad things too. But I'm always the half full type of guy. And in that instance, you just think of so much. I mean, COVID created the isolation, right? People got so isolated. People just need someone to talk to. They really do.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that AI is providing that companionship is just almost mind-blowing. Yeah. Such an important topic. And I appreciate so much that you're using your platform and your fame to draw awareness to that kind of thing, which, is venturing out of the food realm even. You're using your voice for this greater good. And I just appreciate that you're taking the time even to have that conversation on my show. So thank you so much for coming on the show to talk about that today, and also share so much about what you have going on with your products and all of these great things that are happening in the vegan world, and how you're kind of revolutionizing what's going on at the grocery stores. So I really appreciate you coming on to chat about that today. And to check out all of the tasty frozen food products that Chef Ming Tsai has for you, just go to mingsbings.com. Okay, everyone, stick around because after this quick break, we're talking travel, so don't go away.
What is going on, Merilee? It is Richard Blais from assorted different food shows that hopefully you've seen, including, I hope, Next Level Chef. You are known to be incredibly savvy, especially with wining, dining, and travel, and sharing those experiences with others. And Merilee, what a amazing thing that you get to inspire so many people, including myself today. Stay hungry, as in driven, like you obviously are. Merilee, you got some friends that love you so much. Can't wait to see you soon.
Over 50 million in prizes paid, more than 4 million pounds lost.
I'm global health and fitness expert Jillian Michaels, and I love Healthy Wager. It's a great way to lose weight by motivating you with big cash prizes. Get paid in real cash up to $10,000. Diets alone don't keep most people motivated, but with Healthy Wager participants, they often lose 30, 50, 100 pounds or more. Healthy Wager is the ultimate solution.
Oh yeah? I know every judge and lawyer. Oh yeah? No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child, a poor boy born into a battle.
This is not justice!
No justice, no peace!
How much money is Mr. K and Mr. G paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
Three Corners of Deception movie is now available on Prime Video.
Welcome back to the Savvy Ventures Show with Merilee Kern.
Hello and welcome back to Savvy Ventures, where we not only chat with power player experts, legendary chefs, and celebrities, but we also showcase fabulous travel destinations, and today is no different. So buckle up and away we go. If you're planning a vacation in South Florida, look no further than the Courtyard by Marriott, Fort Lauderdale, downtown in the Arts District. Conveniently situated less than 3 miles away from Fort Lauderdale Beach, a short drive from the famed Las Olas Boulevard, and within walking distance to popular attractions, this hotel offers the perfect location for your stay. Courtyard by Marriott caters to all guests, including pet owners. With 137 rooms available, you can enjoy a mix of comfort and convenience. Relaxed and spacious rooms and suites equipped with a balcony, plush hypoallergenic bedding, beautifully appointed bathrooms, sleek work desks, 65-inch smart flat screen TVs with cable channels, and free Wi-Fi. When it comes to dining, the hotel lobby's restaurant, Quantum Kitchen, offers delicious American cuisine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, satisfying every craving. For an ultimate relaxation experience, head to the Easton, the hotel's rooftop pool and lounge. Bask in the Florida sunshine while enjoying light bites, beers, and cocktails amidst stunning pool and city views. Health-conscious guests can maintain their exercise routines at the 24-hour fitness center, which features cardio machines and free weights. Other convenient amenities at the Courtyard by Marriott, Fort Lauderdale downtown include an on-site coffee shop and cafe, valet parking, an electric car charging station, and free cribs and infant beds, making it a family-friendly option. For business travelers, the hotel offers 2,300 square feet of flexible event space and a full-service business center, perfect for meetings and special occasions in Fort Lauderdale. Your South Florida getaway awaits at Courtyard by Marriott, Fort Lauderdale downtown. To learn more and make your reservations, visit Marriott.com. Such a great show today, especially connecting with the incomparable Chef Ming Tsai, who's contributing to our world in so many tasty and meaningful ways. All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Savvy Ventures. If you missed any part of today's show or just want to listen to any part of it again, just go to savvyventures.tv. You can also connect with me on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at Merilee Kern. Until next time, remember that everything begins with an idea.
Thank you for listening to the Savvy Ventures Show with Merilee Kern, connecting you with noteworthy industry changemakers, movers, shakers, and innovators from around the world. Plus, travel and shopping hot picks and so much more. Follow us on social at Merilee Kern.